Do not take product if you are hypersensitive.
Well, holy shit, she did it. So hi, welcome to the Intoxicated Podcast. This is something that's been in the works for a while. Started off because I was told that I like the sound of my own voice. So I figured, you're obsessed with podcasts anyway, Sarah, why not make one yourself? This podcast does not have a consistent topic every week, but it does have a common theme every week, and that theme is booze and friendship. So, essentially, I will be interviewing a friend or multiple friends on each episode. They will pick the alcohol that we choose to drink, and I have to drink it, no questions asked. I'm a big wuss when it comes to alcohol. I'm typically stick to vodka soda water, typical white girl wussy drink. So this is certainly broadening my horizons in terms of alcohol. And I also think I have some of the funniest, most entertaining friends in the universe. So I want you guys to really get to know these people and hear their stories and laugh at those stories with me. And sort of be like a fly on the wall for a drunk conversation on a weekly basis. So, I hope you enjoy it. Episode 1 was actually the most recently recorded episode. It was just recorded on Friday night. Today is Saturday. It is currently 2:35 a.m. on Saturday. So this was recorded last night. We decided to talk about the Best Picture nominees for the Oscars. One thing my friends and I do talk about a lot is TV and movies. So this podcast is extremely long. The consideration of timing, as the Oscars are on Sunday night, I did want to put this one out first for that. So you guys can listen before the Oscars or after the Oscars or around that time when you're thinking about these movies. Because we ended up recording for almost 3 hours. So we'll talk about our picks. And the whole point of the podcast is to convince Jen, who hasn't seen any of these movies, to eventually go see the movie that we're talking about. And, we talk about which one we think should win and all of that. So it is a lot of movie talk. There is definitely some spoilers near the end. We do give warnings before we go into any major plot spoilers, but I would say that if you're someone who really, really, really doesn't like any type of spoiler at all, doesn't like to hear anything about a movie before going to see it, maybe just avoid this podcast for now and come back after you saw the movie and take a listen, because we definitely get into it, and we definitely got incredibly drunk on Goldschlager. So, I hope you guys enjoy it, and just to let you know, this is all very new to me. I am still learning all about sound editing and equipment, and I hope that it's just going to get better and better as time goes on, so be patient. Another thing I will say as well is, if this doesn't interest you, just stay tuned. I've recorded 4 episodes so far, and the subject matter goes from just drunk, hilarious stories to relationships to drag. So I highly encourage you to keep listening. You're going to see a wide variety of people on this podcast, and even if Oscars and movies doesn't interest you, stay tuned, because more than likely we're going to cover a subject that you're into at some point. So, yeah. Due to the length of this podcast, as we are talking about 9 movies, there will be a part 2 posted on the same day, so be sure to check that one out as well. And grab a snack, grab yourself a drink, and enjoy. So we're here with Evan and Corey and Jen, and usually we start off talking about the booze we have today. So we are actually drinking Goldschlager. Did I say that right?
You did.
Goldschlager?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
So it's the liqueur. I thought it was whiskey for whatever reason. Like, I went in.
Cinnamon liqueur.
I went in looking at the whiskey section, and then I was like, I don't know where this shit is.
Not finding it.
Yeah.
As one wouldn't.
Yeah. So, Corey, you suggested this.
I did.
Why did you suggest this?
Because I was trying to think of something like Oscars. You have your gold statue, so it's only. Oh yeah, we're talking about the Oscars. Did we even mention that? Okay.
We will.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I was like, gold slogger. It's the first thing that came off my head, and I may live to regret it, but we'll see about that.
I have a big bottle here, so
yes.
Let's bring in for cheers, everyone.
Okay.
With these dainty little glasses.
We should add that we're mixing it with Bailey's at this point, which is odd.
Ooh,
but not bad.
That's delightful.
It is delicious.
Holy it really is cinnamon hearts in a glass.
This is right up. I guess we should say our names and like put our voices. This is Corey speaking.
Yeah.
This is Jennifer speaking.
My wife. Because like Borat humor is like cutting edge right now.
Oh, but not for long.
I don't think anybody does like a Borat impression.
No.
No one does Borat impressions anymore.
No.
We did them on Oh My Lanta a bunch.
Yeah, that was 2008.
I just like to say I did that ironically, so people just think I'm not the worst like guest of all time.
And Evan, you talk. You've been on an episode already, kind of.
I think I have.
Yeah, you were asking the questions in the Newlyweds game. I know Evan from high school, grade 10.
Yes.
Evan knew me before I had boobs.
Or makeup.
Yeah. It's true. I probably wore like eyeshadow and mascara. Maybe. Like blue eyeshadow.
You probably blew
Yeah.
it out.
I love that this is the aspect of like. I love that you're going to cut Sam put this first because like we are so deep
drunk.
in the Goldschlager.
I know. The Goldschlager is almost gone now.
I will say, like, and another thing I want to bring up is early on you're just like, I'm taking this bottle home, by the way. And we're just like, yeah, totally.
Bottle.
There's going to be nothing left in the bottle. But anyway, how do you know us?
And so I know Evan from high school. I met Corey through Evan, who started playing trivia with Corey.
Yeah.
Really, we don't really have an exciting origin story other than
No.
that. I started playing trivia. We played trivia every
Started
week.
hanging out with us.
And they haven't kicked me out of the trivia team yet. And that's the important
Because you
part.
get like poppy songs.
Yeah.
Like
I get the crappy music.
And she was so
Which is
annoying
good.
that like it was more hassle to like kick her out than it would be to keep her in.
She got real.
Cold-blooded. Kind of, yes. But obviously I know Jen through Corey. So that's really just how it is. Tonight we're going to talk about the Oscars. So we each picked 3 movies, kind of draft style. So we had to watch these 3 movies, and these are all the Best Picture nominees. Right? And they're all in the same category. It's not like the Golden Globes where it's like
We're strictly talking about
drama, musical, and comedy, which shouldn't be in the same.
I guess so. I guess that's weird, but they're all just nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah.
Which is,
Right. So we're going to go around, and so we've each seen our 3, and Jen, you haven't seen any, right?
Not one of them.
Right. So our job tonight is to sell Jen on paying, how much are the movie tickets these days? $12?
$14?
Yeah. But
What? Seriously?
Yeah.
I never go to the movies.
Yeah.
But our job is to convince you to go see these movies. So we will make our case, and we're going to start with the ones we didn't like.
No, not necessarily. Because I liked all 3, but I think we're just doing it in ascending order.
We're kind of ranking them.
Yeah. So, we're ranking at 3.
Yes.
So we get to what we feel is our best movie.
the
Right.
one which is most likely to,
Yeah, win.
Win
That we select.
that category.
Right. Like if we had to pick one
out
to
of
win.
the 3.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Have the Oscars happened yet?
No, it's this Sunday.
It is this Sunday.
This Sunday.
So
I'm really
we're
into the arts.
We are recording this on Friday, hoping to get it up for Sunday, hopefully. Oh yeah, we're gonna try to keep this spoiler free as
I'm
much
gonna
as we
spoil
can.
probably some stuff, but
Yeah,
all in all, spoilers.
I'll put timestamps, like if there's any big spoilers, and
Sounds
I'll
good.
put it in like the notes.
I think I can avoid.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to avoid it. So I'm gonna start it off with Fences.
Why are you starting off with Fences?
I'm not finished. I'll
You elaborate.
So I didn't really know much about this movie going into it. I literally just picked it. Like I knew Manchester by the Sea and I knew Arrival. Those were my other 2 that I have. But I did not even know about like, even what it was about. Never saw the trailer. Just knew Denzel Washington was in it. And I was like, yeah, I like him. Okay, I'll pick it. So, this movie, I would say, is 95% talking.
Well, it's based on a play, I'm pretty sure, so that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, I never knew that. It is just like... Okay, like, I'll give the basic synopsis. So Denzel Washington's character used to want to be a baseball player. Like, he had dreams of being a baseball player. Something happened and he ended up going to jail. So he essentially ruined his baseball career dream. He ends up getting married and having a kid. And then that kid wants to play football. And he's just like this angsty dad that's like, I don't want my kid to be successful in football because I never got to do my dream. You know what I mean? Like, I never got to live my dream.
Yeah.
And he's just...
Sounds really awful.
It's the inverted version of the father trying to live his life
Like vicariously through his
through
son.
his kid.
Exactly. And I will say, I'm so excited about this, and you guys will all know who this is, but the son is Michael from The Leftovers. John Murphy's son.
Yeah.
From season 2 of The Leftovers.
When they moved to Jardin.
Miracle. Yeah. So, like, I was like, hell yeah, Michael! And honestly, he's freaking phenomenal in it. Viola Davis plays Denzel Washington's character's wife in the movie as well. She's phenomenal. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, the acting is great.
Yeah.
I will say Viola Davis seems like she's made of tears every time. Every time I see like an ad for like How to Get Away with Murder, it's just her with like the wettest face I've ever seen in my life. Like either she's really stoic or she is bawling her eyes out. Yeah. But she's an amazing actress.
She wears wigs really well.
Yeah, she does.
To that point, though, you couldn't be more correct, because there is a scene towards, like, the last quarter of the movie that's really emotional, and that was the one, like, throughout the whole movie, I was very bored. It was just so much talking, and the fucking main character pissed me off so much. I'll just say that there isn't a very emotional scene in this movie, and she is not only crying, but there is, like, snot all over her face. And I'm just like, that's commitment, man. Mm-hmm. And at that point, I was like, I kind of sat up and I was like, damn, girl. Damn. Yes. Get it. So I think she could win Best Actress, like, easily because of the snot.
Okay.
who Amy Adams didn't have snot,
but
you know?
Overall, you don't feel the movie is not the strongest.
Yeah, because is it just a bad movie or is it just depressing or like
depressing and just like not enough. Essentially, it's around his strained relationship with his kid, and he's holding his pain in about like not having played baseball, and he's like taking it on his kid who like just wants to play football. I just want to play football, Dad. And you're bringing your drum, and he's all just like,
you're trying to save him from like getting too many concussions.
Yeah, it's so topical.
Like it's just like. He brings up his angst and he's just like, doesn't want his kid to like enjoy life, really is what it is. And he's just like, oh, you have to work. When I was young, I worked for what I got. You can't do that if you play football.
That's an amazing Denzel impression, by the way.
Yeah.
I like that's a dead-on Denzel impression.
And I will say, this made me slightly uncomfortable, but they use the N-word like every second word. Like...
Is that just your white guilt?
I shouldn't have even said it. I shouldn't have even said it. But it's just a point of like it was just like a little bit much, you know? I don't know. So like my first note that I have in my phone is so much talking because it was really just dialogue. I mean, really like the movie is set essentially in their house and that's it. There's not...
Yeah.
And it's mostly just conversations. So high points of the movie are Viola Davis. Also, the guy who plays his son, who's Michael from The Leftovers, and I don't know his actor name, but they're phenomenal, and she's phenomenal. And I guess you could say Denzel Washington was really good, too, because I ended up hating him, and he annoyed the shit out of me.
Yeah.
So...
I'm going to act kind of stupid here, and I know I'm a huge Leftovers fan. Why can't I remember Michael?
So Michael was John Murphy's son.
Yeah.
The one who was, like, kind of...
grandfather in the woods.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And he's, like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, this isn't all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there's any cross section, like I don't want to like ruin like a major plot point of the.
But he was great, and I will say the movie ended really well. It ends on a good feelsy, like it kind of made me kind of feelsy.
Okay.
At the end, and
3 out of 10.
I want to spoil it so bad as to why.
No, well.
I won't
Maybe
spoil it, but I
maybe in our
will.
discussion will.
Do they
Yeah.
throw football at the end?
Catch, kid.
And then everybody's happy and Viola cries.
Not
because
quite.
she's so happy.
Yeah.
Not quite.
She's just crying because she's constantly. She has a disorder where she can't keep tears in her
Or
eyes.
snot.
Overproduces.
Oh, yeah.
That was the thing. I was just like,
overactive.
damn. She was just like all kinds of bodily fluids all over her face.
That's gross.
Whoa, that sounds like
Yeah.
a different movie at this point.
Yeah.
I saw it.
But it was the emotional fluids, I guess.
Yes.
Ah.
Oh, that's even worse.
You really should.
Yeah, you should
Anyways.
stop
Maybe you
talking
should have
about food.
something to drink.
Yeah, I'm going to take a sip of this. But yes, so overall, I wasn't a huge fan of this, but you should still get to see it. Jen, based on what I've told you, would you see this
I
movie?
love that Jen is actually taking notes.
She is.
Yeah.
Well, I want to be thorough.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted to see this movie
Mm-hmm.
because I like Denzel Washington a lot and I like Viola Davis a lot.
Yeah.
I would probably like to see this movie still because I like racially charged movies, even though my partner in life chooses not to like them.
I did not. That is not true. You're putting me on blast right now. Because I am half black, I don't like going
You're
to.
half black.
What?
I thought you were Lebanese.
I mean, I just don't like it's not that I don't like watching these movies. I just have trouble going to the theater and being surrounded, because I don't know, these movies, because growing up, like, half black, these movies have a certain effect on me, affect me in a way because of racism that I don't like to go to theaters and watch them. I'd rather watch them in
In
person.
comfort of your own home.
Yes, so that's kind of what I was saying about Fences. Not that I don't want to see it, and I don't dislike racially charged movies.
But I will say, that wasn't the main focus of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
The main focus of the movie was his relationship with his son and the fact that and maybe at the very end of this podcast, I can go full spoilers and
Well, I know
just go a little more
I feel
nuts.
like I know the huge spoiler because it's in the trailer for it.
Oh, okay, is it?
Put the spoiler in the trailer?
Well, they
That's
put
a
it pretty.
poor place to put the spoiler.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah. So.
But yeah,
I would probably still see this movie because when I did see a few of the trailers, so maybe I did see the spoiler and I just don't know it yet.
Yeah.
I wanted to see it because I like all of those actors very much, and I like down on your luck kind of movies.
okay. You'd love this then.
Yeah,
But no, that's the thing,
Just like when
like-
people are having a shitty time.
Makes
Yeah.
me feel better about myself.
Oh, that's so bad.
My life is doing fantastic.
The acting is phenomenal. I mean, and I think if I were to pick, its selling point, it would be the acting.
The acting.
And just Viola Davis, man. Whew, fire!
And the only thing I wouldn't want to see is the snot. I'm not a fan of snot.
That's true.
Any
That
other
gives
body
you the-
fluid, I can take.
Right.
Snot
But the thing
would
is-
turn
So
me right
Blair
off.
Witch Project is a no-go
I
for
couldn't
you.
because
Oh.
of the snot, not because of whatever's chasing them in
Yeah.
the woods.
It's
Seriously,
like,
yeah.
I just like to point out that what you just said was, I can take any body fluid, which just sounds oddly perverted.
I think it sounds...
However, it is dead true. I would rather somebody
No! Do not hold back.
anywhere than blow snot on me.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
She
seriously.
hates that. It's.
I can't. I don't even
You
want
would
to talk
take
about it
shit
anymore.
over snot.
I would take any body, the worst diarrhea you can throw at
Over
me
snot?
in my face over snot.
Okay.
Any day.
I disagree.
I know it's a weird
We have
thing.
been officially derailed.
This is why I have the explicit content box checked off on
Yes.
iTunes.
I apologize for that.
That's okay.
grossness.
You-
It's. I find it.
You're repulsive.
But I will say, in this scene,
Like, is it
It-
bubble snot? Like
no, it's just I'm extremely upset.
thick, clear fluid.
Yeah.
And
You can tell.
lip in the mouth, and
Yep.
it's salty, and you know it.
And you know it, but you kind of like it.
So I will,
You
yeah.
know you shouldn't.
But yes, okay. So
Yeah.
Jen would
But
go
it's
see
winter,
it.
whatever.
That is a ding. You would go see this movie.
Oh wow, we got the bell.
I remembered the bell this time. All right. Who wants to go next?
I shall go next.
Sure. Let's do it.
I'm going to talk about the inspiring tale of Desmond T. Doss, a private in the United States Army during World War II. This movie is called Hacksaw Ridge, starring Andrew Garfield. This is sort of a takeaway for Andrew Garfield for me because the last time I think I saw him in anything really was
Spider-Man.
So kind of expecting him like, oh, why don't you just flip way up that Hacksaw Ridge, like all the way at the top.
Oh my god, that
Just
movie
punch
so...
the Japanese people in the face, You
know how amazing that movie was? If you just took his character out and replaced it with Spider-Man.
Spider-Man?
I know. I mean, yeah, USA. Take that, Okinawa.
We call it Bonesaw Ridge because that's a little nerd joke, but it's because Bonesaw was the wrestler that Spider-Man wrestled in. Anyway, yeah, he's the wrestler that.
Oh, at the very start of his career as
Spider-Man. Yeah,
he's trying to make pro money.
Anyway, sorry.
So, it's based on a true story, and it's directed by Mel Gibson. So, the first time they go up that ridge, there's half people, guts strewn everywhere, legs, just piles of what look like spaghetti, but aren't, so they're really not holding back on the violence of this almost impossible ridge that they've tried to climb 6 times.
Okay.
Does it look like a hacksaw?
Well, it's a hacksaw because all the stream body parts. It's like a beachfront and then a sheer cliff with this netting sort of they've managed to attach to the cliffside.
Okay.
So,
so who you're trying to attack is really smart with their.
Well, Japanese have a really strong we're known for an incredibly ferocious defense of their own. They were so committed to throwing back the American advances. That they ultimately decided it was more economical to drop a nuclear bomb on them than it was to continue this
war.
assault. Which really says something about,
their character.
their commitment to, repelling America. And they did a pretty fucking good job.
They should come around now.
Good job, Japan.
I mean, I'm not going to get into the political ramifications of, America embargoing an island nation, which, needs, vital things to survive, or whatever, which then precipitated them, attacking Pearl Harbor, blah, 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 whatever. But, the first half of the movie is really, this romance between Andrew Garfield's character and the actress whose name I'm trying to remember.
The chick. Evan messaged me and said, "This girl's pretty."
She is so pretty. Teresa Palmer. That's her.
Oh, yeah.
She was in Point Blank or...
Point Break.
Point Break, the remake.
Yeah.
She was that was the last time I saw her.
Also,
really
Warm Bodies, that zombie comedy movie with...
I forgot about
Is she the
that.
main character in that?
She is the love interest of Andrew Garfield. And so the first half of the movie really deals with... Well, not even the first half. First third. Deals with, him falling in love with her, as she's a nurse, blah, blah. And then he's the Seventh-day Adventist who refuses to pick up a gun. Mm-hmm. Or fire a rifle or kill anybody.
So he's neutral.
But he's what's considered a conscientious objector.
Yeah.
So, they beat the shit out of him at boot camp. They punish the whole squad to make everyone hate him. And so the reason it's mine, this is based on a true story, and at the end it does kind of Band of Brothers style. It shows you the interviews with Doss and these other people who are the veterans or whatever.
Yeah.
And he got treated so poorly, but at the same time it's I've seen this story before.
It's not new.
It's and Vince Vaughn is does this great job as the really mean sergeant who hates him, but then grows to have a grudging respect for him. And at the end it's you're the bravest man I know, Ron Burgundy.
That's it.
It's So it's characters that I've sort of seen before, and like, I mean, I guess it's not really spoiling because it's like history, but like, Desmond Doss personally saved like 75 men on like this beachfront, out of 100, a battalion of 100 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That he like personally like, like put on his shoulders one at a time style, like, and like, through the smoke and the smog and the trees and the branches, made his way back to the ridge and like lowered them down with a rope in his hands, and like every time would be like, like, Lord, just let me get one more. And Andrew Garfield did like a really good job portraying that sort of like.
Kind of sounds like you were just talking like Matthew McConaughey.
That was a fantastic accent or whatever that was.
I'm totally into what you're saying, but I just got distracted by Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, from like True Blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. What time is it flat, sir?
God.
So, oh man, it's so like when they show like the old guy, like his accent's like you can literally see like his top lip going sort of like one way, as he's like the drawl is like so thick.
That's hilarious.
It was like Lord, one more. I should make it, but this man's a fucking hero.
I know, yeah.
That's
but
awesome.
it's sort of funny, like.
That's a big story.
Well, you sold me. I don't know about Jen.
I also like war movies.
But yeah, like the reason I picked it as my third is because it is something I have sort of like seen before. But that being said, I'd watch it again.
Nice.
I'll watch it with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll watch it for the first time.
He's charming, that Andrew Garfield.
Yeah. And the girl is pretty.
My only complaint is that, well, I guess like up till the very end, like, but he like he's so. Like he's so pretty. Like,
I don't think he is.
Like
I'm not.
Andrew Garfield. Like no, but I mean like throughout the movie though, like you just expect like crawling through the mud and like the blasts and all that. Like I'm just like, how does your hair stay so perfect through World War II? Like just look a little bit more disheveled, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, look at. I mean, even in Spider-Man, he'd wear a spandex mask and take it off, and his hair just
perfectly cool.
Maybe he just has the most perfect hair ever.
Yeah, the most buoyant hair.
And so Viola Davis had perfect hair too, but she still had snot.
Yeah, on her face.
Yeah.
Well,
But was it her hair?
Blood and guts and shit on his face.
That's true.
Maybe that stuff because the dirtier your hair is, the better it works.
It's true.
Maybe
They say you shouldn't style your hair when it's clean.
No, you should wait till it's dirty. So maybe this is what happened during World War
II.
II.
Yeah.
He just got so dirty that it was fantastic all the time, and Helmet Head just never held him back.
I think how we reduced the World War
To Helmet Head hair.
or
Germans terrible at helmet head.
Yeah.
So that like
that pith helmet.
pith helmet?
Yeah.
The worst.
I would see that movie. I would.
Dang.
Yeah. Like I like Spider-Man. I don't like wrestling. I like pretty girls and good-looking guys with nice hair, and I like
Jen's an
dinosaurs.
easy sell.
Yeah.
I am a bit easy.
Okay,
of a
we
sell.
wait until we get to Manchester by the Sea.
Yeah. So, and I like war movies when there's good guys, like legitimate good guys.
Yeah.
So.
I love that in your notes for it you had like Spider-Man and wrestling since I mentioned Bonesaw, which is amazing.
I have Bonesaw written in my notes too. But I don't know
Ooh,
what
this
that means.
Goldschlager though.
It's pretty not too bad.
I feel like I'm drinking it way too fast.
I'm drinking it way too slow just because I'm not used to hard stuff. Straight.
I like drinking.
Oh man.
You
Okay.
have the crooked straight.
Yeah, that's right.
Cornelius West, would you like to take a turn?
Cornelius.
Nice. Yeah, so I feel like I put this at the bottom of my list, but it doesn't reflect the movie. I just think I had
Right.
3 really good movies. And
Yeah, that's how I felt too.
yeah, and this one and my second one, I guess, are almost a toss-up because they're almost totally different movies. But I'm going to go with Hidden Figures. I saw Hidden Figures.
Okay.
It's basically about in the 1960s. Basically, Russia launches a satellite, and this kind of starts the
Cold War.
Yeah, well, kind of Cold War, but it's also
Space.
the space. Yeah. So it kind of propels the U.S. to really be we
Step up
want
their game.
Yeah, we have to put a man in space, and so basically it follows 3 women, which in my cliff notes, it's so weird. I've been it's an actress I love so much, and it's Taraji P. Henson.
I'm gonna Google her right now.
She's in a bunch of things, including Weeds.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Who's she in Weeds?
She is what's her name's niece, like U-Turn's aunt or whatever.
Yeah,
who always
Is
schooled him.
she in The Help?
Here, no, you're thinking.
Octavia Spencer.
Yeah, Octavia Spencer. Because she's in the Help. But you would know her because you just binge watched Persons of Interest. And you know my guilty pleasure of a show, which I'm not scared to admit, is Empire. And
Okay, her.
That's
Yeah.
not guilty pleasure then.
I just don't know names of people.
Yeah, so she's basically the main character, based on a true story, I should say. She was Katherine Johnson, who was a brilliant... Yeah, that's true. But she played, Katherine Johnson, who's a brilliant mathematician. It kind of follows, I should say, it follows three African-American women. Katherine Johnson, played by Taraji P. Henson, which, I have to say this one thing first. Taraji P. Henson, she uses the name Taraji P. Henson as in she added her middle name initial, which makes you think, was there another Taraji Henson that she had to use Taraji P? Like, that's the weirdest thing, I think, for names. Kind of like how Michael Keaton's real name's Michael Douglas, but he couldn't use Michael Douglas, so he just... Anyway. Follows her, Katherine Johnson, Octavia Spencer, who is Dorothy Vaughan, and Janelle Monáe. Yeah,
Janelle Monáe
is in two movies I've watched.
Oh my god!
Yeah, she plays Mary Jackson. So
I love Janelle.
Basically,
how do you feel about Janelle? I can't even say her name. Janelle Monáe.
Janelle Monáe.
How do you feel?
Janelle.
Janelle.
I love her.
I can read my actual writing when.
Would marry.
I would listen to her record. Oh man, that song "Prime Time."
yeah.
She's a singer. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, and she's been in these
Arch Android.
So basically, it follows the three of them in different kind of aspects. Like the story is mainly about oh my god, I can't remember his name. John Glenn? Is that right?
The astronaut?
Yes. So it mainly it's about John Glenn's which I think they call the Friendship 7 mission to orbit the Earth like 3 times.
Okay.
So basically it's these 3 in different facets, these 3 African American women that are helping out to basically send him around the Earth, but at NASA, and it's basically obviously it's racially charged, so it's and like it brings up racism and sexism. It's basically like all of them have a double strike. They're black and they're also women. So like there's even a thing like another actor who I'll talk about more with my next movie, but and I've been practicing his name all day, and I love him. Mashallah Ali. I'm probably butchering that. You would know him from he's Cottonmouth in Luke Cage.
Yeah,
he's Remy in House of Cards. Yeah.
Look,
he's an amazing actor, and like he's an amazing actor. Like even when I saw him in House of Cards, I figured this guy is kind of bigger and better things. But basically, he plays Katherine Johnson's husband, and even like get back to the sexism thing. He kind of like very loving to her and stuff, but like doubts she can be a good mathematician because she's a woman. Yeah. So it's weird. It's like you have the racial element, but even like a person that she is with is like, wow, oh, you're a woman, and then he's not. Like that's one thing. This is a little off topic of the main plot, but their storyline feels a little forced. Like the one thing I say overall about Hidden Figures is it's a great movie, but it doesn't really push the envelope any other. Like the racism's in there. It's not overly over the top of the head, but it's like stuff that's like there's for instance, she gets put on this team at NASA to kind of like figure out these mathematical equations just to help to kind of get and Kevin Costner. I'm like rambling about this movie. Kevin Costner plays like the head of this like this basically task force or whatever, this space. I think they have such a weird name to it, and I wrote it down. Space Task Group. That's the name of this group, but they're like in charge of kind of getting John Glenn to space.
Right.
And Kevin Costner is the head of it. And Kevin Costner is a character, he's amazing in this movie. He basically plays a guy who, like, he doesn't really see, like, it's not that he's like, I'm for equality. He's basically just like, if you're smart and you can contribute, I could care less, like, what color, what sex you are. Like, if you're helping me, then you're all right in my book. So that's kind of his character. But there's, like, the segregation scenes they have in it, that, like, the racial child stuff is, like, something like, he gets mad one time when she's not at her desk. And then he's like, where is she? And then you find out, like, oh, she had to walk 45 minutes away to go to the bathroom because there's no colored bathrooms where they, like, are doing their work at NASA and stuff like that.
Yes.
So it's stuff like that. Like, but it never really, it's depressing. It's hard to watch. And, like, these three women are super intelligent. And they're, like, have to fight for the fact that they're, like, we're intelligent. We're people. Like it's one thing, like, we're so smart, but yet people don't accept that we're smart because we're women and we're black.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the gist of the movie. But the thing is, like, even though these are played off, like, pretty harshly against them, the movie never gets super dark in any way. But I think it's a great choice by the director and, like, the writer and stuff, because it's, like, it makes it accessible to, like, if you go too dark with these things, like, you're looking at a different crowd where, like, and, like, I hear, like, you see a lot of people talk about it, but it's like, there's a movie you can kind of take your kids to and be like, yeah, it used to suck back then, but there's a silver lining. Like, everything, it's a Hollywood movie, but they do a great job of putting the facts out there and being like, oh, that kind of really sucks. The one thing I will say, though, is another actor in it is Jim Parsons, which, if you have any taste in movies, you may recognize him from a movie like Garden State. Or if you have bad taste in bad taste in TV shows, you may know him as Sheldon on The Big Bang Theory. Which
I can't believe you even said the name.
Oh, I know. That'd be Sheldon.
You were struggling.
The only reason I bring it up that he basically in this movie is playing Darkest Timeline Sheldon.
Oh, really?
He's the guy on NASA that's, like, working on Kevin Costner that the Katherine Johnson character comes along to. Basically, he's the like, you're a woman, you're black, and, like, and he, like, she comes up with all these, like, really intelligent mathematical equations, and he steals them, and like, he takes credit. All in all, I am kind of rambling about it, but Taraji B. Henson, amazing performance. Octavia Spencer, she's an amazing actress. And great performance. Janelle Monáe, amazing with very little time. Like, she probably gets the least out of all of them, and she has her own trajectory. She's more like, that brings up more facts. She's just trying to, like, basically get her degree, and she takes it to court because she's not allowed to take night classes because she's African American, or like she goes like, and there's, like, even aspects of, like, where, like, characters go to the library and they have books that are for white people that, like, African Americans can't take out or stuff like that. Like, if they're deemed like above black people in, like, education.
Let them know the secret's staying young forever.
I can't take night classes.
I should mention that Kirsten Dunst is in it. And
I saw that. That's so random.
She's very Kirsten Dunst in it. Another Spider-Man alum. So all in all,
she's waiting to get rescued.
I recommend it. I did put it in my, like, kind of third spot, but I find this in my second movie.
Someone has to go in third.
Yeah. So, yes.
Yeah, Jen, what do you think?
Well, first of all, not a movie buff. This is the only movie I wanted to see in theaters this year. And I begged and pleaded for someone to take me. Yeah. We'll go. And no, and then he watched it without me.
Did he tell you he was going to watch it for the podcast?
No, he told me this afternoon that you guys were coming over to do this. And that, by the way, the side note is this is my movie. And I watched it. And I'm not kidding. I cried. I was mad. I was really mad. So I'm mad.
So you're in the doghouse.
Can I pour you another drink?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, you can.
My wife, everybody.
Also, just to rub salt in the wound, even though Corey was talking about sexism, he often tells me that my place is in the kitchen.
Don't out me over the whole world. Those are jokes, everybody. I am not sexist.
We'll see about that. Anyhow, I desperately want to see this movie. I still want to see this movie. There could not possibly be a spoiler for this movie for me because I want to see it. I love all three of those women actors. I think they are fantastic and beautiful. And I don't really like Kevin Costner, but I'm sensing that Spider-Man has a big theme in all the movies this year, so I'm in.
Dreams.
You're in?
Wait.
Like, Kevin Costner, not Spider-Man.
No, but but Kirsten, what's her?
Oh,
Oh, right. I was
So
like,
she's like
So there's a Spider-Man element?
there's like a Spider-Man theme going on in the background.
I wonder if anybody in fences is in Spider-Man. I don't think so.
Shit, because...
no.
But he likes to jump off fences.
Oh,
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. La La Land, too. That's crazy.
So, and I'm happy that Sheldon's a bad guy because he's kind of a douche on that show.
Oh,
So I don't really.
he's
I can't
super
even imagine him as anything other than just that awful person.
And he's probably like a super nice guy. I would absolutely see this movie.
Wow. 3 for 3.
Bing bang.
3 for 3. Good stuff. I really want to see it now, too. Because I didn't... Yeah, you sold me on it as well. I mean,
It's
no.
good. I think everyone should watch it.
There's like a whole hit.
Yes.
I mean, there's a whole hidden history of like women behind the scenes who have invented like a lot of stuff that like you wouldn't even think of, like actress Hedy Lamarr, who like helped invent technology, which then invented wireless technology.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, so it's like I don't know.
I will say, like,
Godmother of the internet.
if Katherine Johnson, the main character kind of this movie, was a male and white, everybody would have known about her long before. It's just it does end on a happy ending, and it shows like that now. And I mean, this movie obviously that's huge. It's getting out there, so it's nice to see. But it's like these are people that you would never heard of. It's nice that these people are like, I say these people.
No.
I'm half black, everybody, don't worry.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
These women are finally being recognized for how brilliant they were, and especially Katherine Johnson. And it's.
Do you know if any of them are still alive?
Yes, they are. That kind of is covered in the end of the movie. There's some good stuff there, but yes, I think she was recently. It says recently. I can't remember the year. I think it's 2012. Was like
Barack Obama.
Yes, was recognized. It's in the end. It has a really good ending to like, and they definitely put the positive.
Is it a feel-good ending?
Yes.
Okay, good stuff.
I would say so.
So you might cry, but you'll end up feeling somewhat happy.
Happy cry.
Yeah. Happy cry.
All right, so
Let's move
before
on.
Jen throws any more shade at me, let's go to the next movie.
Okay, so I'm next, and it is time to talk about Manchester by the Sea.
Manchester by the Sea.
Seagull sounds.
I sighed again, because okay, actually no, I'm not going to go negative right away. The first note I wrote... Yeah.
Lay it out.
The first note that I wrote was, disgruntled plumber doesn't give a fuck.
He's a plumber.
I know nothing about this movie. So,
okay. So Casey Affleck,
oh, yes.
which is Ben Affleck light. So like it starts off like introducing him as this like plumber, and I think he lives in
By the
Boston.
sea.
No, but Manchester is like outside of Boston.
Okay. Manchester.
Yeah, it's like, and they said it a couple different times in the movie. It's like 2 hours away or something like that,
Okay.
or like an hour and a half.
I just
2
love
hours away from Boston.
But they said it multiple times.
Yeah, I bet they
like
do.
it's a 2-hour drive.
2-hour drive. Terrible Boston.
He is obviously he's a one-note character in this movie. Like he just has this air of sadness all the time. It starts off with showing him in his job as a plumber. And this plumber does not get... Okay, actually, he's not a plumber, actually. He works for an apartment building. He would have, like, your job.
Like a super?
Oh,
But he was in charge of fixing things as well. So if, like, the tenants' stuff broke down, he would have to go and, like, try to fix it.
Yeah.
He was not trained as a plumber, but, like, he had to do a plumber's job, essentially. But he just gave no fucks. And, like, there was, like, this hot wife, blonde woman, like... Why isn't my shower working? What's going on? And he was just like, well, I don't know. It could be this or it could be that. I really don't know. Well, maybe it's this. And he did not give a fuck.
Can I just say, I never knew how good of an impressionist you were. First I heard your Denzel. Now I hear your Casey Affleck. Like,
I think you're sarcastic right now.
No, I think...
Maybe it's the Goldschlager.
I like the way that Evan is like caressing the bottle.
By the way, we are going through this at a crazy rate.
But we're getting to the fat part of the bottle, so really...
we're down quite a bit of the fat. Anyway, we're only on our second movie. We started on our second movie.
I know, right? We're in this round 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this blonde bimbo is like telling him off, and it's kind of a funny moment. She's like, "Just get out of my house," and he's like, "You're standing in the doorway." And I thought that was really funny. But you could just tell this guy's been through some shit because he just seems so like, I just don't care about my life.
Kind of this vibe about him.
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, always happens to Eeyore. Mm-hmm. But holy shit, did it ever happen to Eeyore? Because
holy fuck, Eeyore, fuck up.
There's some dark shit in this movie. I mean, I don't know, like, how much is out there in terms of, like, the trailers as to, like, what this movie's about, but essentially what happens is, and this is just the synopsis, this is not a spoiler, because it starts off with this.
But this is the
he finds out that his brother has died. And his brother has a kid who, at this point, I would say is in, like, probably grade, like, 11? Like, 10 or 11. Like, high school, but young high school.
10 or 11 mid...
Like 14, 15 years old?
Something like that. Like I would say a bit older. Not yet graduated.
17?
Yeah,
okay.
17.
That's
16 or 17.
That's grade 11.
Okay, grade 11.
Alright, so, like, angsty teenager.
And it starts off, like, the movie starts off with showing Casey Affleck and his nephew, like, going fishing, and the kid's really young at that point. It's very cute and special. And then it's like, oh, okay, I have to go. My brother was in it. Actually, his brother was in an accident, and he drives to Manchester and finds out he has died. And I just want to say, I don't know how people normally react to guilt, but this was very much like oh, okay, so what needs to be done? Like, there was, like, nothing there. But then you start to realize as you watch the movie why there's nothing there, because this guy went through a terrible fucking tragedy years and years and years before. And going back to Manchester brings back that terrible tragedy that happened with him because he used to be married.
Gotcha.
Okay. So I won't say what that tragedy is.
Key point, though.
Yeah, it's a key point. And
tragic past.
And it probably doesn't come up really until halfway through the movie. But the whole movie is really him trying to figure out what to do with the son, because the son was essentially left with Casey Affleck's character. And so he's like, well, I have this life in Boston, and now I have to, like, essentially be a dad to this
2 hours
kid.
away.
Yeah.
2 hours away in Manchester.
Oh, God. And I have relatives from Lowell, which is, like, kind of in that area.
Say Lowell?
And they talk like
Lowell.
Lowell.
Okay.
And they talk just like that. But I can't do the accents like you guys. But, yeah, so... It's very emotional. It's very, like, I want to say it's depressing, but you still want to see, but you want to see how it unfolds. And, okay, we'll say another thing. The kid in this movie was such a little fuck.
That's a key quality for you.
He was what I would call a dweeb.
But, like, he thought he was awesome?
So this guy is in, like, grade 10 or 11, and he has multiple girls on the go.
Oh,
and
that's a little player.
Part of Casey Affleck's job, part of Casey Affleck's job is to help, like, mediate him between fucking all these different girls. This kid is in, like, grade 10.
That's fucked up. Yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, how does this kid compare to Colin Farrell's character's son from True Detective?
Oh,
that's
got to be polar opposites. That kid got no push.
That kid who I wanted to leave. That kid who I felt best thing for would Colin Farrell just, like, take him to the fair and just abandon him there.
That kid was the worst kid in the history of kids. Like,
but all right, this kid sounds like another little fucking.
But also, too, again, he didn't react. Like, it seemed like this guy dying had no effect on these people because they were just like, "Oh, okay."
So his mom dying. Was just like,
well, I guess we got to do all this. Like, they just went straight into logistics.
Wait, no, not mother, brother.
Brother.
So where's the kid's
mother?
Is this a spoiler? Probably.
Maybe. Don't tell me spoilers.
The mother is not active in the kid's life.
All right.
All right. Well,
I'll say that. But, like, so overall, it's worth seeing because you will want to know what happens. That said, I'm going to be completely honest. The end is, like, kind of like when you have good foreplay and then the sex sucks.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's like that doesn't relate.
It's like
happened to me.
the ending. It was just kind of like almost too realistic. Like I kind of wanted more
fantasy. It's
more.
a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Or more of like an ending, like more of a stamp on it. Like,
because really, like I mean, really, the whole movie is really just Casey Affleck like trying to. I don't know his character's name. I'm really bad at that. I'm sorry, I forgot his name. But Casey Affleck's character like trying to come to terms with the fact that he has to like essentially like raise this kid, and then the end is like,
Okay, so it's like just paying all this effort to raise this kid, and you're like, why? Like, fuck that kid.
roll credits. Why? Roll
Kid's got it
credits.
going on.
That's
Like
why
the kid-
ladies.
So the kid got mad at him because he wouldn't have small talk with one of his girlfriend's moms so that they could go bang.
Uh,
Do kids bang at that age? I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know.
finger banging, maybe.
Yeah. But
The
yeah.
dry humping.
But Casey Affleck just was just like, okay. Like he was just like did not know what he was doing.
She's acting like a little bitch.
And there were certain shots, Corey, that I was like, holy shit, he looks like Ben Affleck.
Never.
Oh.
Ben
But, like,
Affleck is,
Ben Affleck, like,
They're both like douchebags.
hashtag Ben Affleck,
so
like,
Oh, okay. Let's
they are
not.
both douchebags. It's fine.
wow.
But yeah.
He's cutting so deep.
Okay, and then there's one more thing I will add. There is that movie. There was just one scene that really got me and made me actually had a tear came down, which is a flashback to the tragedy that he went through, and it is fucking hard to watch.
Okay.
I'm a crier.
That's all I will say.
I'm a crier, so I would probably like bawl
Yeah.
through any. Like I cry in like those CIBC commercials, and they're sending their kids
Yeah.
money, and they're talking.
You
on the
would-
phone.
You would not
Or
enjoy
the
this?
Penguins.
And this scene
The
is
damn
the
penguins.
one scene where I was like, finally, Casey Affleck is like breaking down because the whole movie it's like he's on the verge of a breakdown, but he's not quite there. So
You just
that
gotta hold it together.
yeah, exactly.
This sounds pretty so like biased. I probably wouldn't see this movie because I think he's a douche,
He is a douche.
and that would be.
Casey Affleck.
I don't care. Like him and his brother.
Well, him and the whole, like, Joaquin Phoenix, the, like, thing, like...
I'm not interested in some. It just sounds so terrible, and I don't know if you're supposed to say this on the podcast. I don't move the mic away.
I was trying to move.
No.
forward. You were kind of turning
Jen,
away from
if
it.
you think you can say it, that means you absolutely can.
I just think I don't want to support their careers because
Okay.
I think they're total douchebags. So why would I spend
Can I
my
bring
heart
up
over?
one thing, though?
No, because you're so biased and you love Ben so much
No,
that you
can I
can't
bring
see
up one
clearly.
thing? Can I bring up one thing again? You watched the movie a couple days ago.
So were you yelling?
No, it was called She's Just Not That Into You. And the only part
And
you...
I told you, this is the first movie I've seen in a long time that is that Ben Affleck was the only redeeming, and Corey was pleased
Justin Long?
as
Jersey Girl.
Punch. No, they were all kind of douchey.
You're not in Jersey,
Do you remember?
bro.
Do you guys remember Casey Affleck in American Pie as what's his
As,
name's
like, he had the
brother?
book.
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
How to please a woman.
I
or whatever.
can't every time. I die.
So I wouldn't
God.
see this movie just on the sheer fact that he's in it.
Yeah.
If it was probably anybody else,
Okay.
I might
That's okay.
I might
Okay.
watch it if it was on TV.
Yeah.
Okay.
To be honest, I'm not gonna watch this movie again.
So we have a bell for
Yeah.
one
Ding.
I don't
So
know.
it's like, wah,
Wah.
wah.
Okay. That's okay. I respect your bias.
You can probably find a sound effect for that.
Yeah, probably. You're next.
Oh, am I?
Yeah, you get the next one.
Lovely.
I was like, yeah, of course you do. It's like,
Oh, me?
I just
So-
like to know that everyone's drinking their drinks and almost everybody's finger sticks out at one point or
Oh
another.
my god, it is.
I feel so
we have
dainty.
dainty glasses. I'm
I
going to
know.
start mixing, I think, just to save the
So
bottle.
delicate. So the next movie I have is Lion.
Ooh, sorry, not to cut. I thought this would be your top one. So, but anyway, let's go.
I really like Lion. I knew a bit about the premise before going into the movie, and it is also based on a true story, continuing the theme of true stories. It is the story of a young boy named Saru, spelled S-A-R-O-O, who. His mother is she's a laborer or some sort of she has to work in a quarry, lifting rocks, moving them literally from one place to another place. Apparently, that's
worst job ever.
an employable job in late 80s India. So that sucks. Mm-hmm. And she has 3 young children. Saru, being the protagonist of the story, is 5, and his older brother is probably I'd say he's probably 12, maybe. Yeah, just on the verge of puberty or whatever.
So the worst years of his life.
So probably 11, somewhere between 10 and 12. And he works, day and night, providing ways to provide for the family. And Saru often tags along with him, he's in love with his older brother, Gadu.
Ow.
And it shows them start these sort of makeshift knapsacks, stealing coal off of a train, as it's going by, so they could sell it for milk, which they basically immediately then consume. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So other property, and which is a complete reality for a lot of people in India, and but his brother also works this night shift, and Saru really wants to go along, and this isn't really spoiling it because this is the premise of the movie,
right?
Is he basically falls asleep on a park bench because he's a 5-year-old fucking boy. His older brother isn't old enough to really he shouldn't have it's basically this is all Gadu's fault that
fucking Gadu, typical.
He should no, go the fuck back to bed, you're gonna fall asleep, you're a stupid little kid, you can't work a night shift, you're a dumb, you're literally 5 years old. Anyway, so he falls asleep on this bench at this train station, and then wakes up and he's looking all over probably 4-5 a.m. Before dawn, can't find his brother anywhere, and he there's a train right there, and he gets on the train and he's going up and down calling for his brother. He's a 5-year-old kid. He's looking under seats and shit because he doesn't fucking know anything. Mm-hmm.
Kids are dumb.
Kids are dumb. Yeah. I'm sorry, but kids are dumb.
They're actually so smart. It's weird.
Yeah. The thing about kids is that they can run forever, because they're so tiny they don't weigh anything, which does play to his advantage.
I have one question about this movie though. He's on this train. How long does it take to get this train to Boston?
2 hours.
Yeah.
2 hours to Boston. 1.5 to 2.
So, he falls asleep on this train again.
Casey sucks.
And wakes up and he's basically locked onto the train, and he's on there for several days. He travels. I think it's something 1,600 kilometers to Calcutta.
Okay.
Where the train stops and opens its doors to let on all the passengers, and he's trying to force his way off, and he doesn't know. So, I have studied Indian history. Okay. I will say that, but I didn't realize until this movie that there was such a huge difference between Hindi and Bengali.
Okay.
Because Bengal, is a region of yes, cats. Thank you. So
women are smart too.
Could be the band or the accessory. Yeah.
Oh hey.
The Bengals. So
they walk like Egyptians.
They do not walk like Egyptians. They walk like Indians. Did you know no? Well, in the Indian culture, to nod yes, you do this.
Oh, really?
This, if you,
really
see that in a movie, they're nodding. I work with a guy,
they're not just pleased
and he
as
does
punch.
that. He's oh, yes. And, it does happen in the movie a few times, too, right? And it's sort of sideways head level is like a nod or whatever.
I have heard that before, but I forgot about it.
So, there's such a difference that, if you, this little 5-year-old boy who spoke Hindi, not speak or understand a single word of Bengali. and like they wasn't really able to communicate with them, which is something I did not even realize. It was such because you just sort of think like Indian, like you're all like Hindu, you all worship the same like gods
It's
or
the
whatever,
same thing.
Rama and like Shiva.
Okay, so I had no idea either.
Anyway, cultural fact. The more you know. But so he's on this train and ends up on the streets of Calcutta, which is like one of the busiest cities in the world, and like he's on it, like it shows him like struggling like for food and like meets like a gang of street kids and like like all these people trying to like grab him, and like he runs away. Anyway, he ends up meeting this woman who introduces him to this man, and like I don't know, man. Like there's this one scene where like this has like dark.
Like, was he getting like sold into?
Like it looked like I'm like this is some fuck. Or like the guy likes like oh were you sleeping? Like lie down. Like lie next to me. You're like yes. And then talking to this woman who found this kid is like yes he's perfect. He's exactly what they're looking for. Like the kids are like sees this sort of stuff and he's like
side eye.
And then like first chance he's like but like takes off like out of the fucking place.
He wasn't doing this.
He was not wobbling his head. No.
I'm gonna do that from now on, by the way.
Wobble. Just
nobody's gonna know.
You're gonna look like the most agreeable person ever.
And I mean, like it's funny because like I worked with the guy on back shift where I worked.
Yeah.
When I worked back shift, who's Indian, and he really likes movies. So like we talk a lot about movies.
Yeah.
And like whenever I'm talking about a movie, like and he's agreeing with me, like he does do this. And like I always thought it was weird until my Lebanese coworker told me that head wobble is like a nod.
It's like the same as this, but it's this.
Yeah,
it's funny. Like it's the same but different all over the world.
It is. Well, what's interesting about India, like also, what I find really interesting about India is like they have been a colony of the British Empire as long as we Canada have been a colony of the British Empire. Like, they have as much of a history to Britain as they do. Like, tea, which we think of as, like, the most British thing ever, and curry, which are, like, both, like, ingrained into the British cultural society to, like, a deep degree, are both Indian in origin. So much so, and opium, I suppose, also. So much so to the point where they forced it upon China, and then, like, you're going to grow us tea, and you're going to grow us opium. Anyway, but they also have like a word which we don't have in English, which is when you want to. This is a huge tangent, but whenever you want to like, so you want to like move like a meeting or a deadline back a bit. You say you want to postpone that.
Yes.
So they have a word for when you want to move a meeting or a scheduled appointment ahead in time, and that's prepone.
That makes sense.
Yes, it makes absolute sense, and
Prepone.
like it's describing how you want to move like something up ahead in schedule.
Yeah.
That is like actually like a word that they have that we don't really have.
Well, we should.
I'm gonna use that all the time.
Prepone that till next week.
Yeah, right.
Can I prepone that day?
What, Sarah?
But anyway.
If I say that on any online dating site, they're just gonna be like, "What's prepone?"
Exactly.
You'd be like, "You wish."
You mean PW?
Yeah.
Like,
It means get over here now, boy. Okay, sorry, I'm good.
You jerk.
Yeah.
Fuck. Anyway,
People.
get yourself educated. So apparently, like 80,000 children a year in India go missing.
I've heard
crazy.
terrible numbers like that. That's awful.
Yeah.
I don't like this movie anymore.
Lion. Shut up. Lion is partnered with this or started this sort of campaign called like Lionheart. You can find it #Lionheart campaign through Google or Twitter or whatever.
Yeah.
And they are a nonprofit charity, which I shouldn't say nonprofit charity. I don't know specifically, but what I do know is that the movie is matching up to like $50,000 worth in like people's donations towards like this charity, which is trying to like reunite like lost children with families and stuff. And I think like Nicole Kidman is already kicked in like $10,000.
Only 10,000.
Yeah, bitch, you can chalk that up a bit more. Jeez.
I should say, like, you know, Saru, like, you know, he does like end up like with this Australian family in Tasmania, and played by Nicole Kidman and David Wenham, I believe.
Okay, did not know.
I did not know she was in
Me neither.
Yeah, well, that's so much the film is, you know, not about her, right?
Yeah.
But
Shocking.
What do you got against Nicole Kidman?
I don't know. She
seems really
She almost
nice.
she liked Jimmy Kimmel
I like
or
her
Jimmy
own.
Fallon, and they almost
She
went
did.
on a date.
a few times.
Except
Yeah.
he was an idiot, didn't realize she was hitting on him. Anyway.
Yeah, it's great.
So
That
yeah.
took a turn.
So the main actor is Dev Patel, and I really feel he might actually be a strong contender for Best Actor.
Nice.
Like,
I mean, he's
because like
an amazing actor. Like,
absolutely, he's been in like a bunch of great things like Slumdog Millionaire and like Newsroom. You know,
That's who he
yeah,
is.
Last Airbender.
Yeah.
Wait.
Let's not talk about that. That the Flame Island piece of turd, Fire Nation piece of turd. I should say.
Nice. Good call.
But what?
He's also in Skins, which is one of my favorite shows of all
Yeah.
Oh
time.
god, your skin's
I
bad.
wasn't gonna mention that,
No.
but
Skins.
so yeah, like I think he's great, and like he really does a great job of like, you know, like, so he's raised Australian, you know, and like he takes this like sort of like French, you know, like a hotel management course, you know, and like in the course is like a bunch of like Indian people, and like, you know, like they're all talking about like, and like British people and American people, and they're all talking about like the shared heritage. It's like, oh well, you know, it's like born Calcutta, and like oh, I have family in Calcutta, and like what part of Calcutta, you know, like it's like, well, I don't actually know, because like, you know, I was adopted.
Yeah.
And so like, and like he goes into like the kitchen because like the party's being hosted. It's like it's all Indian food.
So when he gets adopted into the family, is he adopted as like a servant or as one of the family?
As their child.
Okay.
As their. I mean, this is 1987.
Okay,
This is
it's
in,
not like
37.
19. I just I have no. This is
Sure.
all new to me.
Sorry. So it's 1987 when he's adopted. So he's like around our age, because he's 5 in 1986 or whatever. Yeah, and you know, like there's actually, they adopt a second child, like I think within a year or two of adopting him, who is like a bloody nightmare. Like the kid like is screaming, like rage attacks, and like hits himself in the head, and like just like, you know, he's like constantly. Anyway, but like Saru is like totally the opposite. He's like the chillest guy ever. You know, and yeah, and anyway, so like he has this sort of like connection with this like Indian food, like remembering like the smells or whatever, like bringing him like straight back to like when he's 5.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
he's like using Google Earth to try and find his home, basically based off like the scanned information that he has.
Ew, that kind of hurts.
You know, and like, oh man, like it's.
I want to see it.
It like the pace was never so slow that like, and it was never too sad. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like
Never dwelled on.
That's the
any
key.
one thing.
like it was. Like,
Yeah.
it was definitely heartrending and like feel good, and like when he sort of like, you know, it's like zooming in on the blurry images of his home, you know, like the world. It's like it's actually like, you know, like really
Ouch.
you feel it,
Yeah, ow.
you know. But no, I thought like it was like a really good tale, a really good movie, and I feel, yeah, it was.
You should also add
Also, Rooney Mara was in it, and she was pretty good.
Oh, nice.
I think she's the better of the two Rooney Maras.
Yeah.
There's two of them?
Mara,
Well, there's Kate Mara, who's in
House of
House of
Cards.
Cards.
Shooter. I know that's Fantastic Four. Which
Oh yeah,
oh, God,
man,
that
that's fucking.
If you want to talk about that movie on a podcast,
Yeah.
I can
Sure.
rage about that for hours.
We should just have an episode called Corey Rages.
Yeah.
And you just
It definitely
Weekly-
Fantastic Four and Prometheus are like the two top ones I would talk
Is
about.
Ben Affleck?
What?
No, that's like Corey loves.
I enjoyed some aspects of Prometheus,
There was aspects.
all right. We're gonna
We're a little off topic.
but
I just have one other really important question.
okay.
So who played the lion in this movie?
Was it Calvin
actually-
Harris?
That is actually a funny story, because whenever they asked 5-year-old Saru where he's from, he would say like "Ganashtale," and he found out years later that the problem was that he was like mispronouncing the name of his hometown, which is why they were never able to.
That's not devastating at all.
And also, he was also mispronouncing his own name, which was not Saru but Sharu, which is Sheru, which means lion in
Okay, but in all fairness,
Hindi.
those are fairly close.
But that's the kind
that could have changed the
But it changes the meaning.
which I guess that's what makes it so perfect.
I was trying to make a joke, but that was depressing to me.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So
But,
I
like-
would absolutely watch that movie.
Like, it was a beautiful movie.
I feel like emotionally attached to this poor child, and I want to.
And there is like footage of at the end, like, and like he reconnects with it, like, and there's real
ouch.
footage of like the
Owie.
real people.
No, I'm not okay with that.
So it's not too depressing that you're like, ugh.
I'm gonna like sob.
sorry,
I was crying half the kid.
Okay.
sorry. So who in this movie is in a Spider-Man movie?
He was like, well, little did you know that.
I'll find that.
You know, like, Gadoo is in Spider-Man, Lights Out, Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, that's it. Okay, so
Spider-Man is filmed in Calcutta.
Yeah.
my next movie, which this
Can I
one,
get a piece of paper, please?
oh, of course.
Jen is taking mad notes over here.
I know.
Props.
And I love the fact that she didn't like Manchester by the Sea, like, so it's the one that she X'd out.
Yeah.
All her notes
In all
she
fairness,
X'd out.
it could be my description of that movie.
No, it was
That-
Casey Affleck.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Your description was. I would have.
Prejudice.
I know.
If it was not for
Okay.
okay.
Affleck prejudice.
Do you not agree he's Affleck light?
That's the only reason Corey married a Jen is because Ben married a Jen, and
He
now
married two Jens.
Yeah.
And look at where that
Yeah.
got him.
Yeah.
And now look.
Geely. Got him Geely.
All right, Corey, your turn.
All right. This one, see, my next two are like, it's hard to talk about them without going into huge spoilers. But that being said, my next movie
Oh, I'm
is.
pretty sure I said spoilers.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, like, heavy, like, my last movie I want to talk to death about. But anyway, my next movie is Hell or High Water.
It's just a cowboy movie.
Yeah, it's a pretty straightforward movie. It's amazing. Your main players here are like, so you have Chris Pine and Ben Howard.
Who's Ben Howard again?
Ben Howard, I feel like I wrote his name down. Just look it up.
I don't know.
Look up Hell or High Water.
Well,
I feel like I wrote that down. No, what is his name? It's Ben. It's not Ben Howard. I feel like. Oh my god.
I'm really bad at. I always know the actor names and not the characters.
See, I usually know actors really well, and I'm really kicking myself.
Ben Foster.
Ben Foster.
That was close.
I can't believe I wrote down Ben Howard. Ben Howard's
You
a
just
singer.
you
who
have a
I
thing
love.
for Ben's.
That's it. Yeah. They
Yeah.
just.
So Ben. Okay.
Oh my god. Yeah. So yeah, Ben Foster, who's like a phenomenal actor, like him in like 30 Days a Night, like phenomenal. The X3, not too great, but
that movie wasn't.
yeah, that was
He
definitely
worked with what he had.
that was Ratner.
Oh, also everyone.
He's been in a lot of movies.
He was in Freaks and Geeks and 6 Feet Under, which I'm now watching, but I've yet to see him. But
So basically, back to it's Chris Pine and Ben Foster played brothers. They played Toby and Tanner.
My favorite actor ever.
Well, yeah. So they play two brothers, and if I'm just like giving the synopsis, they're two brothers who are robbing banks, and they rob banks during the day.
It's good to know.
Yeah, during the day, like, and you kind of this movie's like so masterful in like what it gives you, or like the build up. Like it is a really great movie. So it basically it follows two brothers and two partners who are U.S. Marshals, and the U.S. Marshals are Jeff Bridges, who plays Marcus,
Yeah.
who is basically doing his Rooster Cogburn.
Yeah.
Like he's just doing like from
I
True
love
Grit,
that guy.
where it's just like he's literally like what he's saying is so just jagged. Like that's what he's saying. Yeah.
Good.
Basically, that's what he's doing in this movie, which is phenomenal. And the other guy, he has a partner. His partner's named Alberto. Is played by Gil Birmingham.
Okay, I don't know him.
Gil Birmingham. The two things, which is kind of sad, I feel like I know him from. Well, I'll say the one thing I definitely know him from is on Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. He plays. Oh, what's the blonde girl's name again?
You mean
my Google
the
machine?
Mole woman?
No, he's the one that Kimmy works for. I can't believe.
Oh yeah.
Jenna Maroney's character.
Yeah. Anyway, he plays her father. Like.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or husband?
No, father.
Father.
Oh, the Native American father
yes.
lives out in Wyoming,
Oh
whatever.
my god.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So basically, it follows like.
Okay.
Jeff Bridges. Daniels, my God. Jeff Bridges and I'm sorry, the Gold Slayer's in it.
Really
I
is.
also make that mistake between I have to like double check what Jeff I'm talking about.
Oh, I know.
It's 100% a thing.
So they play U.S. Marshals that are partners, and they're chasing down these two bank robbers. And so basically, what's happening is these two brothers are going across. Somewhere down south. It sucks. I can't remember, but somewhere down south and in the USA, and they're just basically chasing these two bank robbers. And it's one of those movies that I won't get into spoilers for it, but it basically it's a movie that is pitch perfect when it comes to directing. They give you so little, like it's so simplistic, but it's amazing. Like, and the camera work's amazing. Like, there's a lot of like one shots that just keep going, and it gives you. And the way they build the story up is they give you just a little bit to make a decision, and then, or like
it's just two brothers, just
two brothers that are like basically actually that's a great point. It's just like it's two brothers and they're robbing banks. And they're dirtbags, and it's kind of like, oh, okay, it seems so by the numbers, and literally, like, Jeff Bridges' character he's the old U.S. Marshal that's, like, very close to retirement. This is his last case.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it's like,
that character.
So it's very, like,
Murtaugh.
They do that, and then, but they masterfully do that, being like, they kind of give you, like, this is what it is by the numbers, and then it's so subtle, but everything they do... Like, it's kind of, there's music in it, but, like, the best scenes are, like, when they don't use music to, like, give away
dramatic
stuff.
Effects.
Yeah. And, like, this is not really that big of a story, but it's, like, the brothers have a distinct plan. You just really, at first, think they're just robbing banks to rob banks. And there's a motive eventually that comes out. But it's almost like they rob a bunch of banks and they're smart about it. They go really early in the morning and like so there's nobody there and they only take money from the till. They don't go to the safe. And it's like
because it takes longer.
It takes longer. And it's like and you find out after like why they're doing that. Like they don't really reveal it early on. But then like there's a scene like later on where they're kind of they have a timeline and that's kind of a spoiler too. But they go to rob a bank, and like you've seen these bank robberies, and it's them walking in with hardly anybody in there, easily getting the money and leaving.
Sure.
And then finally they do this one where they're kind of crunched for time. They go in, and the bank is like full, and it's a small bank, but like they do it so perfectly because you walk in with them, and then they pan, and it just shows like, oh, this place is full, and like you're just so used to as a watcher of this movie, you're so used to like them walking in, nobody there, give me the money, we'll leave, and they have some minor hiccups, but then you get in the scene and you feel the tension they feel because it's like we're doing this,
right?
And there's a ton of people, and it's down south in the USA where everybody has a gun, and you're like. And it's like you feel like it's just masterfully done. Like they make it so simplistic, but then they hit you at moments that like genuinely make you feel like, oh my god, like it.
Yeah.
And this is set in like the days of like what like.
No, it's present day. It's present day.
Oh, this is present day.
Yeah, there's a very thinly veiled.
I did not realize.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a very like, and they don't hit you over the head, but there's a big aspect of like today's society of like if I wanted to get into spoilers, like it's kind of like how like banks and like corporate America are like screwing over the poor and stuff like that. Like, but and it's kind of like even going back to the Jeff Bridges and Gil Birmingham characters. They're like two partners that are like Jeff Bridges seems a little racist towards Gilbert and like makes these jokes, and then there's a time where like you think like they're just partners but they don't like each other, but that you find out Jeff Bridges actually has like quite a great deal of respect for him. So it plays on these, like, it gives you this very by the numbers thing, and then slowly morphs it into like there's a bigger meaning here. The ending is phenomenal. I won't ruin it. Like, it's just like you think it's going to be this like, oh, they're going to have this big kind of blow up, but it's so subtle, and it does well in subtleties. But anyway, that's kind of my recommendation. The performances are amazing. So, would you watch this?
I would watch it. Sounds good.
All right.
I feel like the drunker we get, the more Jen's just like, yeah, I'll see everything.
I'm going to watch all these movies tonight.
Yeah.
Man, Jen forgot to see it.
Except for that one.
Except for mine.
No. I like that these
And you
guys
can make
are...
him sit in the other room as you watch Hidden Figures.
I didn't realize it was set in present day.
Yeah, no, it seems like that. It definitely does. I feel like we're like, what are we at? Like, I feel like we got to burn through.
I'm not even going to look. I'm thinking that this is going to be a longer episode, but that's okay, because you motherfuckers,
it's the Oscar episode,
you need to watch this before you watch the Oscars on Sunday night, at whatever time it's on.
Yeah,
I don't know what time.
Or watch the Oscars and then
put it on. Put it on
it.
while you're watching the red carpet arrivals.
There you go.
So that is a wrap on part 1 of our Oscar episode. Part 2 should be posted right below this one, so be sure to check that one out. In that part, we do go over our top picks, the ones that we enjoyed the most out of our 3, and we are way more drunk in that part, and there's some spoilers, so just a heads up, but I hope you enjoy it.